welcome back to another episode of In Depth. My name is Luke Hardacre, and I'm a surf coach at Ombi. If you're new to Ombi, we take a look at surfing from the perspective of ocean, mind, body, and equipment. This podcast, it's all about straight to the point tips, things that you can take away, implement into your surfing, or things that change the way you view your surfing. This week, I really want to focus on that changing the way you view surfing. And I want to talk straight away about style. So what the hell is style? We all want to look more stylish when we surf, even if we don't admit it. Surfing with more style is on more people's wish lists than high performance surfing or big waves. Style is seen as having fun, being creative, individuality, and expression on this blank canvas of a wave. So then, why is this pursuit of style or trying to surf with more style so bloody hard to figure out? Well, there's the problem in and of itself. Most surfers know good style when they see it. It looks good. It makes you feel something. It's going to often have us saying something like, "Wow, look at that." But when it comes to trying to surf with more style, the average surfer looks more like a headless chicken, flapping their arms wildly, or they're in serious pain and nothing looks good. So firstly, when we think of style, who's the first surfer you think of when you think stylish surfing? What does their surfing look like? And how would you describe it? Obviously, other than just stylish, but most descriptions will come back like chill, relaxed, effortless, graceful, fluid or flowing, or anything else along those lines. But that is only one piece of the puzzle, and too many people focus on the effortless or graceful part, and they wind up looking like they have no clue what's going on when they try and mimic it. If there's one surfer I want to replicate, it's Stephanie Gilmore, hands down, no contest, and you can easily describe her surfing as all of the above. But that doesn't do it any justice to actually explain what stylish surfing is and what the surfer's actually doing. Too often, the average surfer will want to mimic someone else's style, and usually that feeling or the look of effortless. And this is where we fall into some of the common traps. And something like, oh, they look like they aren't even trying and I want to look like that. Or they think, or they look like they don't care and it looks cool. I want to be like that. This right here is where most people make a big mistake. They want to look like they aren't trying. They want that style, but have no clue what to do or how to do it. So they almost end up doing like nothing, expecting it to look good. Then they wonder why they're feeling nothing in their surfing, creating bad habits, or they just can't seem to figure it out. So what actually makes good, stylish surfing? And how does the average surfer actually surf with more style and fix this? So let's break down style and what is actually going on rather than describing it, because that's what we all see, that's what we all think, but there's so much more going on. If you want to surf with more style, you need to know how to move. If you have no idea how to move, good luck trying to surf with style. Good luck trying to figure it out. What I mean by this is you need to know the fundamentals of that movement and how it works, what you need to do, how you need to move your body, how to stay balanced during that movement, how much force to use. All of these things keep going on. There's so many different nuances to this. And yes, that does sound a bit complex, but it's not. Once you know how to move, it's all about playing around with the movement to figure the rest out. We learn by playing, and this will give you the feedback to keep adjusting it until you find the feeling. But the pursuit of style is applying that movement with only the bare minimum of effort and movement. And don't interpret this as not trying. That's where we fall into these traps and everything goes wrong. It's all about the efficiency of movement. But then, what does this efficiency of movement mean? And it means simply to just only do as much as is needed to do and no more. There are no unnecessary movements, wobbles, or other actions that distract or fight with that movement. If we break it out of surfing, think about doing a box jump and how you can make that movement more stylish. No, I don't mean to go out and jazz it up, adding spirit fingers. I just want you to apply efficiency of movement. How can you complete a box jump for the desired output with the bare minimum of input? Think about that. If you want to use the no hands approach, it's not going to work here. We don't want to jump or surf with our hands in our pockets. And the wild swinging arms isn't going to look good either. And it isn't efficient here. It's a combination of primarily the legs and knees working with the eyes and the upper body guiding the movement to create the space and extra momentum to create the lift needed to finish a box jump. It's synergy and no wasted effort. So bringing this back into our surfing, if you watch a stylish surfer, all of their body language is saying, I'm doing this one thing and nothing else. And they're doing it efficiently. And this efficiency, this lack of all these other non-contributing movements or things that fight with the movement, gives the impression of I don't care or this is effortless. So then, for us surfers who want to surf with more style, how do we bring in efficiency of movement to our surfing? And as I said before, you need to know the full movement. You need to know how it connects with your board and how it will make your board respond. And what I mean by that is, how does this movement make my board move? And how do I move with it to make sure I'm connected to my board? It's the full movement. It's everything. Where you're looking, how much effort, how to keep balanced, where your center of gravity is, on and on and on. Because if you don't know most of that, how do you expect to tweak that movement or work on it or make it more efficient if you don't have all the pieces of the puzzle? So to start working on your style and making it effortless, you need to go and work on that understanding and get all the pieces of the puzzle. You don't need everything, but the majority of that movement and an understanding of how the movement works is your starting point. Because then playing with it and tweaking it can help bring in the last pieces of the puzzle. Once you have the full idea of the movement and some competency in doing it, you can start work on doing less. Cutting out those extra movements or inefficiencies that don't support the desired goal. So think about flailing arms, or doing movements in stages, or a disconnect in your upper and lower body and your legs are going one way and your arms are fighting and going a different way. It becomes a pursuit of how can I do this with less input for the same effort, and then as always, asking yourself, how did that feel? And to try and understand that. Let's take an example of just doing a basic wrap in surfing. And for those who are listening to this, there will be the show notes below, there will be the full written guide, there is some GIFs, and I've used a pretty good example of trying to explain this. Some people will pursue that stylish turn where it looks like they don't care and the turn is effortless and the surfer's arms are barely moving. If you try to replicate that from the get-go, it's never really going to work. The problem an average surfer will face is they see this stylish surfer doing a turn without moving their arms much and think, oh, I just copy that and use my legs more and it's going to be steezy. But then what they end up doing is far from the proper movement. There's no efficiency in movement. It's just become more disjointed now and the movement's not actually properly happening. The nuance most surfers miss is, yes, the big signals and obvious movements are diluted and less obvious, but all the subtle movements stay the same and go unnoticed. The shoulders are still opening up, rotating through the movement with the hips and keeping the body in line with the board and creating the drive and torque to turn the board whilst keeping it on rail. The body is still leaning with the board to keep it on rail, and it isn't dead like the average surfer. There is endless nuance, but the key is they are still doing all the fundamentals of the movement. They just know how to do the movement with less energy while still effectively doing the movement properly, or they're slightly tweaking it to modify how it feels. It's almost as if they kind of have no arms and the rest of the movement is being done entirely the same. And that's style, and it comes across as effortless because most surfers have yet to understand all the small nuances that go into the movement to actually make it work. The key to that is that if you take your arms out of the equation and skate or surf like you have dead hands in your pockets, or any variation of that, you need to understand how to use your body properly. It's going to look like you have no clue what's going on. You'll make your style look far worse, or your surfing will be flat instead of trying to make it look better. The other thing to remember, and there are a ton of other episodes on this, is stress and tension. If you're not feeling good, if you're tense, if you're anxious, your body is not going to move well. This is going to negatively impact your style as well. So in summary, surfing with style is all about efficiency of movement. To apply efficiency of movement, you need to understand how that movement works, how to move your body, where to look, how much effort to apply, and how your board will respond for the desired output. If you have a rough understanding of that, you can then play with it and start putting less input for the same output. Play is your friend here. Play with it, explore options. Try to feel something new or the same as before without less effort. Any movement that doesn't contribute to the desired output or movement is on the chopping block. It's negatively impacting your style, your flow, everything else like that. Stylish surfing is graceful because it's not stop-start movement or disjointed movement. Every part of the body is in sync and working towards the same goal. So if you think about taking part of that movement out or dulling it down or looking like you're carefree, you still need to know, maybe I'm not swinging my arms so much, but are my shoulders still moving? Is the rest of my body still performing the movement to make sure that I'm still doing everything else the same? That's the question you have to ask. And a little bonus tip on this, for a lot of people who are surf skating, trying to compress and extend, create lift, go up and down the ramp, and they put all their energy into their arms instead of their knees, which if you go back to box jumping, that's how you create lift. This is why it looks so bad, because the arms are moving more than the rest of the body, more than they have to do, and the legs, the main part that's actually working, isn't doing anything. So when you see that and you see someone trying to move that way, or you look back at your own surfing and you wonder why is this not working, is because you've now put 200% into one movement and 50% into another part of the movement, and your fundamentals are completely off. So I wanted to add that in as a little bonus at the end for those who made it all the way to the end. And I want to know, has this helped explain style? Has this given you kind of a rough ballpark on what is actually going on behind the scenes and how you need to move your body? Do you feel like you've had a light bulb moment and you're going to try and apply this to something in yourself? I'd love to know. You can reach out anytime. You can message me in the community app, or you can send an email to info@ombi.co anytime. And if you'd like to improve your surfing, if you want to surf with more style and confidence, if you'd like to have more fun in the surf and feel like you're progressing again, then we've set up a whole range of surf training programs that you can explore with Ombi. You can head to train.ombi.co and explore every single training program that we have. We have dedicated skill-based pathways that you can follow along for the beginner or intermediate surfer, aiming to get you to that next level. But then we also have our fundamentals series, or our maneuver deep dives, where we have training and drills broken up for beginners, intermediates, and advanced surfers. Any skill, any style of surfing, anything that you're trying to work on, we've tried to incorporate this in all of our training programs, that there'll be something there for you. So if you want to improve your surfing, head to train.ombi.co, or you can see the show notes and the links in the description. Next week, I'm going to follow this one up with another conversation about style, but I want to give you something that you can apply to that. Something that can really easily help improve your style. So until then, I'll see you next time.